After WW left, Monday was pretty rough for me. I was pretty tired after all that, but it was worth it. But I had a really hard time sleeping, and my heart was just racing. And I was waiting to get back into dialysis Tuesday since I'd had 2 days off from dialysis. And I was on a 30 ounces of liquid fluid restriction that was really, really tough to handle. I was really thirsty on Monday and trying to keep under my 30 ounces. And it was really, really tough. But all I could do was say, I'm going into my chemotherapy on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Will my insurance have everything ready? And then Tuesday comes. At around 8:30 a.m., Dr. Egid's office calls and tells me that my prior authorizations have not gone through and that they were canceling my chemotherapy appointment for 2 p.m. They could have me back on the schedule if it somehow came through right away. But nothing in my treatment had come through, and they had to cancel my appointment, delaying my chemotherapy when I just said that time is of the essence. I was understandably upset and hoping that the 2 p.m. appointment could still be kept. We got the cyclophosphamide, we had the drug we needed that was hard to get. But it was not to be. And I asked her, when did she think this was going to be solved? And she told me she had no idea. It was at the whim of the insurance company, which again, I still didn't even know if they were going to approve my 4-drug cocktail. So at this point, I'm thinking in my head, is my insurance company trying to kill me? These days could be the difference between life and death for me. But I just had to let it go and hope that Yahweh had a plan for it. And I think he did. I think his plan was to try to get me on a different day of treatment. So Thursday rolls around, and I have a dermatology appointment at 1:30, and it's in the same hallway as where I get my chemotherapy. It's on the same floor, the same building, same hallway. And while I'm in an exam room waiting for my dermatologist to come see me, Dr. Egid's office calls, and they say, your treatment has been approved. Are you available to come in tomorrow on Friday, May 31st at 2 p.m.? And I told them I was. And it was the full treatment, the Daracibor-D. That was incredibly great news. And that was the day that I went down to comprehensive cancer centers after I left my dermatologist appointment and wanted to meet Basha. And I said the thing about how I wanted to ask her if she'd give me a hug. And she came out with her arms wide open to give me a hug. And the next day was when my treatment was about to begin. What Dr. Egid had told me was that dexamethasone is a pre-treatment and that I was supposed to be taking it 2 times a week until I began the chemotherapy, the Daracibor-D. And what was interesting about the dexamethasone is that I took it on the Monday in the hospital, then I took it Thursday after I left the hospital, and then I took it Tuesday after Memorial Day, and I was supposed to take it the Thursday I went to the dermatologist's office. And normally I would take that medication fairly early, but I waited until after my dermatologist appointment to take it. And then I found out I was in treatment, and I was told not to take the Dex. And if I'd taken it earlier in the day, I don't know how that would have affected my treatment schedule. So it was amazing that I did not take that dexamethasone before the dermatology appointment, which allowed me to have my treatment proceed as scheduled. I had no idea what my treatment for Daracibor-D was going to be like. That's going to be what my next video is going to be about, talking about my chemotherapy treatment. But Dr. Henry Egid told me that the dexamethasone was a pre-treatment, that it was meant to stop the cancer in its tracks, stop the light chain proteins from being fired at my kidneys. A pre-treatment. So it was not like I was on no treatment from the moment that I left the hospital. I was in a frozen state waiting for my real chemotherapy, the Daracibor D, to come in. I still had no idea whether I was late, on time, or early with my treatment. I still don't know that to this day. But apparently the dexamethasone was doing enough, and I was not late on the treatment based on what my first round of chemotherapy results were. So in my next video, I'll be talking about what my first chemotherapy treatment was like. Thanks for joining me on my multiple myeloma journey. I'll see you again soon.